What is up everybody and welcome to today's video where we'll be ranking the best mining pets in Hypixel Skyblock. Just a quick disclaimer, this is only my opinion as I'm still very much in the early game and have limited knowledge on some of the new additions to Hypixel Skyblock. However, I will try my best to justify why I placed them in these certain categories. I'd love to hear what you think about my final rankings in the comments, so if you agree, feel free to share, as well as any tips you might have for anybody else. Without further ado, let's get on to ranking these pets. Okie dokie, so we're going to go through this one pet at a time. We're just going to start left to right. Some of these pets I haven't even got in my own personal collection, and I don't even know some of them. I didn't even know they were added. So we're going to be learning on the go, but I've got the Hypixel wiki to my right. And yeah, let's just go left to right, top to bottom. We're going to start off with the Armadillo pet. So, hopefully I'm throwing the stats and stuff up on screen, because otherwise you guys can't even see. But Armadillo, at level 100, it has 200 defense, which I mean is pretty good, but we're mining here. What's really going to kill us? Probably not a lot at this level, unless it's Bal. That's the only thing I can think of. But the perks are rideable. Right click your summon pet to ride it, move faster based on your speed. Pretty good. Tunnel out while riding in the crystal hollows. The pet breaks blocks, which is really good. So Armadillo, I believe, is very good for mining, especially in the late game when you're setting up tunnels for different gems, and it's a good money making method. My immediate reaction is A tier. Some of the other things or the other stats, when you get it to Mythic, grants 300 mining spread while mining Hardstone. Again, really good. Every 20 seconds. Rolling Miner, sorry. Every 20 seconds, the next gemstone you mine gives double the drops. Again, I don't see why this wouldn't be like S+. I think it's just really difficult to get as a pet. But, you gotta make up for that. Alright, moving on to Bal. I genuinely have no idea what this pet is. I've never seen it. So reading it now, you get 100 mining fortune at level 100 and 150 heat resistance. Furnace so grants 3 pristine while in magma fields. Desperation while in the crystal hollows. Killing mobs reduces your heat. And chimney reduces pickaxe abilities. Honestly, for its legendary rarity, like that ability, reducing your ability cooldowns. I mean, what's that? 90 seconds on Pigopulus is now 81 seconds. I mean, it's like okay. Furnace grants +3 pristine, which allows you to get better gemstones. But if you're just if you have a high amount of mining fortune, you might already be getting a load anyway. It's so easy to get a lot. So it's like personally, I wouldn't put this anything higher than like C. I can see the legendary version being needed, and unless I have obviously no idea how bad heat is, but from doing a little bit of reading, heat only increases like by 1% throughout how long you spend inside of the magma fields. So, or especially while fighting Bal, it depends if you're taking way too long, then it's gonna be bad. So maybe beta, especially for an Iron Man, it might be alright, especially if you need to start fighting Bal. So I'll put it in beta for now. Alright, we're gonna move on to Bat. Now this one's probably one of the easiest for me because it's not a mining pet at all, but it has its own purpose for spooky. You unlock it through mushroom collection, and then also to craft it, you need like 4 stacks of enchanted mushrooms. However, it's classified as a mining pet because, well, bats live in caves, which is fair enough, but it has nothing to do with your mining stats, unfortunately. It gives intelligence, secret chance, and speed as the base stats, and then some of the perks that it has is dropping more candies during the night, gain more intelligence, speed, and night vision. You deal 50% more damage to spooky enemies during the spooky festival, and 25% chance to fish up spooky creatures. Gosh, that's a mouthful. Either way, I wouldn't put it in F tier because it has its uses, but not as a mining pet. So we're gonna leave it in just D tier. It'll be bottom D. Basically, all I have to say. Endermite pet. This gives 150 intelligence at level 100 and 10 pet luck. Pet luck's being kind of pushed out at the minute, especially with the new Diana event that's being reworked, or Diana V2, sorry. They're pushing pet luck away quite a bit, and they were changing it all for tracking and other things like this. But let's go through all of the stats. So, more stonks. Gain more XP orbs for breaking endstone and gain a 100% chance to get an extra block dropped. So if you need to mine endstone, sure, it's really good. Daily commuter. Transmission abilities cost 40% less mana. The thing is, you have to have the pets out. If this was just a thing permanently, it'd be really good in my opinion. Mite bait, gain 3% chance to dig up a bonus nest Endermite pet, plus 1 pet luck, stacks of Bal for 100%. This is really good because Endermite is actually, or Mite Gel, sorry, is a really good money making method in my opinion. Once you get past the point where you can one-shot Endermite, or you could use like a Dreadlaw sword, or a is it Starlight? Either way, using something that has an explosion radius, you can easily pick up Mite Gel, which sells for similar amounts of money to Soul String, which is easy to farm as well. And this last perk is Sacrificer, increases the odds of rolling for bonus items in the Draconic Altar by 10%. The only thing about this is that Draconic Altar doesn't really give you anything. Eyes of Ender, so if you haven't got AOTE yet, then sure, it makes sense. But other than that, I don't really see a purpose. Again, it has more, I think, for next is Glacite Golem. Now, I haven't seen the Glacite caves or mine shafts, as people have been saying. However, I'm going to try my best to see where I'd put this. The Glacite Golem has 125 mining speed at level 100 and also 10 cold resistance, which determines how long you can be inside of the Glacite mine shafts. So we're going to go through the stats, or the powers even, perks. Power powdered, gain 20% more Glacite powder. I believe this is one of the few things that actually increases Glacite powder source. Powder powdered, gain 20% more Glacite powder from most sources. This might be one of the only places that you can get bonus powder from, or Glacite powder specifically. So I think already we're starting at like a good A tier. Iceborne, gain 100 mining fortune while in the Great Glacite mine shafts. There's also Mithril Golem, which we'll have a look about in a minute, see a bit of a comparison. We've got Frozen Protection, gain 1 pristine for every frozen corpse you've looted in the current Glacite mine shaft. I'm unsure of how many frozen corpses you'll be able to find, but obviously with pristine you're getting more gemstones, which you can get Onyx for. Onyx is the main one that I've really heard about, especially for mining. You'll get a lot of money. I saw someone recently make 13.6 mil per hour. And obviously, the more you increase pristine, the more money you might even make. So you could even potentially get to around 16 mil or 15 mil an hour. Sorry. So I'd put this, I think it's more important than this money making method because Endermites are just really annoying. Plus, you're not guaranteed to always get uh, Endermites coming out of the nests or the end nodes, sorry. More important than the Bal pet. And for the powder, I think it does deserve definitely at least an A tier. Next, Goblin. They added this recently, and you're able to forge this after the Heart of the Mountain tier 7. So it gives 7 magic find at level 100 and 100 ore fortune. Already good stats, putting it in B. Grunt work. Gain 250 mining speed when mining ores as well. I think that's really good for early game. However, tier 7, you're not really going to be getting it early game. Fetid Thief, gain 100 mining spread while in the mines of Devan. Now, you're going to have to be in the Crystal Hollows for this to work, but an extra 100 mining spread, if you're mining gold, then I understand why you would want it. Obviously, Goblin's gold makes sense. And then its third and final perk, free range eggs, increase the chances of finding rare Goblin eggs. This is obviously good for nucleus runs. So I'd put this almost like higher than Bow because you've got the extra stats of the mining speed when mining ores, you've got the mining fortune, you've got the magic find, and the goblin eggs, which is going to help you with nucleus runs. They're both at the same, they have the same purpose in my opinion, whereas the Glacite Golem is a little bit more because the powder is the only thing that can actually get it. You're getting mining fortune, mining speed, cold resistance, and pristine. I think this just outweighs what both of these could be. Next, though, we have Mithril Golem, which gives 50 true defense at level 100 and only 25 mining fortune. So a lot less, but you're going to be taking a significantly lower amount of damage. Mithril Affinity grants 200 mining speed when mining Mithril. It's good already. Put it a good A tier. Subterranean Battler gain 20% of most combat stats on mining islands. That does cross over between the Dwarven Mines and the Deep Caverns. Already pretty good. And I assume the Crystal Nucleus. The next perk is the Smell of Powder, grants 20% mithril powder from all sources, which already, they recently buffed this in the most recent Iron Man W's update, getting loads more, so it's going to be so much quicker to get and complete the first 4 sections, I would say, the first 4 perks that you can buy with the Heart of the Mountain tokens. Honestly, very good. I think S tier, if you're an Iron Man player, or even just anyone, Mithril Powder was an extremely hard thing to get as it was, and I'm sure it will be for a little bit longer. But if you're gaining 20% more, think about the events, then having the Royal Reforges on all of your equipment, and having a Mithril Golem on. I mean, recently I had 4 pieces of equipment with Royal, and I managed to get 40, nearly 50,000 Mithril Powder. With an extra 20% on top of that, I'd be scraping 50k every single event. That's a good few levels, especially in the early game. And it doesn't take any Heart of the Mountain requirement, it just takes Mithril Collection 5. Its final upgrade though is Refined Senses, and it increases your magic find by 10%. Pretty good, not really needed. It might be for the golden goblins or even potentially diamond ones, but I don't believe they're affected by magic find. Anyways, very good, solid S tier. I wouldn't put it in S plus because there are definitely better things. This for making money, the Armadillo that is, and the Mithril Golem. Actually, you know what? I take it back. Let's put it in S plus. It deserves S plus. Moving on, we got the Mole Pet, which has a base stat of 100 intelligence at level 100, 5 magic find, a 150 mining speed. The perks are Archaeologist, increases the chance of finding scavenged items in the mines at farm by 25%, Magnetic Nose, automatons drop their parts 50% more frequently, Nucleus Veins, the crystal nucleus has a 100% chance to drop an additional item. So, personally, we're already putting this in the B tier because we're looking at these guys already, but this one has 2 stats that affect it with the scavenge items, which is already a pain. They're meant to be a 20% roll. However, with the mole pair at level 100, it's going to increase that to 45%, or a 1 in 3 chance to get any of the scavenged items. So again, really good for nucleus runs, and automatons dropping their parts 50% more frequently. You're going to kill basically half the amount that you would need to in order to get the crystal. Having that third and final extra drop actually might even push it to S for me. I think personally, when I was gonna, if and when I do my crystal nucleus runs, I will definitely be wanting a mole pet. That can be forged after the Heart of the Mountain tier 4, so definitely a focus before you move on over to even trying to think of getting the goblin pet, just for those finding the rare goblin eggs perk. Now, probably one of my favorite and least effective pets is going to be the rock pet. It takes forever to get. It doesn't do a lot. Yes, you can upgrade it with coins, but you're going to eventually get the legendary version. It has 10 true defense at level 100 and 200 defense as legendary. Obviously, it has the perks Rideable, so you can sit on it, and Sailing Stone, sneak to move the rock to your location. Last things are Fortify while sitting on your rock, gain 25 plus defense. I could see this being used on the Soul Campfire in Galatea. Other than that, not really necessary. Its last perk is also Steady Ground. While sitting on your rock, you gain 1.3 times the damage. Not that very big. It's an F tier for me. Alright, last 4 pets, here we go. Scatha, 100 mining speed and 125 mining fortune. And then we have the perks Burrowing, grants a 50% chance to find treasure chests while mining. Personally, I'm putting that in A tier already, just off that. Drill Infusion grants 125 gemstone fortune to drills. High A tier. Bejeweled Eyes and 20% more gemstone powder from all sources. It's either high A or an S tier for me. I think it has, again, it has the same powder perks, but with the whole mining with your drills, which you're going to 100% need in the crystal hollows anyway. And then finally, the mining speed and mining fortune base stats, pretty good. Treasure chest, although there are some perks in the heart of the mountain to unlock them quicker, especially in the early game, it's so annoying. I hate having to click 6 different particles and then the particles not appearing on my screen. It does take a little bit of So I probably would put it just high A for now. It's very good. It's also very difficult to get, I believe. The chance of a legendary Scatha pet is 0.04% or 1 in 2,500 kills. So it's pretty rare for a legendary, that is. Okay, we've got our last 3 pets here. So Silverfish, I'm actually using this one currently, and I would honestly say, although it might not be S+, it's still very much a high S. The reason for this is because that it's so easy to craft, and Silverfish is probably one of the easiest to get to legendary, as it takes a mere 10 minutes to get inside a cat. After their rework of the pets and how pet luck works, instead of using an egg and hoping that you get a legendary, you now have to level them up all the way from common. The stats, however, 100 defense, 20 mining fortune. Magnetic earn 50% more XP when mining. Experienced Burrower gain 30 mining wisdom, and Dexterity give 150 mining speed and permanent haste 1. Now, this obviously stacks. You have the haste ring and then the haste artifact, which gives you haste 2. So it doesn't, that's why it doesn't really deserve S+, and I'd say it's still an S, but I'd say it's high S. The reason for this is because the mining wisdom, unless you've got potions on, this is the only place that you're going to be able to get better mining XP. And then the XP that you're gaining while mining, sure, you can get experience on your pickaxe, you have the experience artifact, you're probably gaining a load anyway, but you can increase your enchanting level at the exact same time. It's such an easy pet to get. If you haven't already got it, then please, please, please make sure you get it ASAP. It doesn't take that much. Moving on to the Wither Skeleton. Again, this one is like the bat. It doesn't have much purpose in mining. You can get it from Coal Collection 9. Stats are 25 strength, 25 crit damage, 25 defense, 5 crit chance, and 25 intelligence. Now it's really good against skeletal mobs as you take 30% less damage, and you do 125% more damage to wither mobs. Upon hitting an enemy, inflict the wither effect for 200% damage over 3 seconds, but it does not stack. Now this will probably be really good for Necron, and if you're doing F7, especially in the early stages if you're just getting into it, but I can see it being easily stomped over by an Ender Dragon pet, maybe a Baby Yeti, or some of these other ones that are a bit tankier where you don't realistically need to do the damage depending on what role you're actually playing. I could be completely wrong as I haven't done F7s yet. It could be a much higher pet that you might need, but in terms of mining and its use there, like what stats and perks it gives you there, probably not a lot. I'd say it's got similar stats to the bat, not in the sense of what it actually gives you, but what its role is within the game and how its role is within mining. Last but not least, though, we have the Snail, which has 100 defense and 100 intelligence. Its perks are Red Sand Enjoyer, where your red sand minions work 30% faster on your private island. Slow and Steady, convert every 2 speed you have into above 100 into 1 block fortune. And then finally, Slimy Reach grants 400 mining spread while mining blocks. Mining spread is in crazy. If you're mining certain ores like iron, gold, redstone, lapis, I think it's really good for that. But if you're mining mithril, you're better off using a mithril golem. I think it's good, like I said, for picking up those certain ores that you might need of, like especially redstone as an Iron Man player. I need accessory slots like it's nothing. Eating away at them. With how difficult it is to get Goblin and potentially even Bal, I'd put it in high B. I wouldn't put it in A since these ones are more about powder, but then again, collection is a good even spread. So, you know what, we'll put it in low A tier, because powder's difficult to get, but collections, with the amount of block fortune as that is giving you there as well, I think it's definitely viable, but it's just not the best. Because some collections you will just max out very quickly and you might not need a lot of. Gold is probably one of those things you will need though for Diana V2 in the near future. You know what? I'm happy with how this final tier list has come out. The Armadillo and the Mithril Golem, if you haven't already got them, they are some of the best pets for mining, as well as Silverfish if you're looking more towards that XP side. Other pets in here are certain towards their powder gains, or even just collections. Certain things will help you with crystal nucleus runs, or even some money making methods, with a couple just completely for other sections of Hypixel Skyblock, and well, then there's the rock pet, but we don't need that. Either way, very happy with this. I hope you've enjoyed today's rankings and potentially even learnt something new. Let me know in the comments what rankings you'd like to see next, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.